Give us any chance, we'll take it. Read us any rule, we'll break it. We're gonna make our dreams come true.
Welcome to Night After Night, a podcast about 8 seasons in a row. I'm Lisa Fernandes, and
I am Chris Jayawardena. Hello.
And we're here with the season 3 episode of Laverne, Shirley, the Mortician, directed by Alan Rafkin and written by Laura Laverne. I bet you get some facts about them both, don't you, Chris?
Yeah, so Laura Laverne, sadly, this is her last written by credit for the show. She wrote the Good Time Girls episode,
Yes.
and she also worked on a ton of shows after this, including Bob Newhart, Three's Company, The Love Boat, again, naturally, and Out of This World, which, yes, the little sitcom about the the alien, yeah.
With Donna Pescow. Yeah.
And then in regards to Alan Rafkin, I mean, I'm running out of facts to talk about this guy. I found out his great nephew is actor Jonah Hill, which, okay, make of that what you will. The other thing is apparently he got his start working behind the scenes on Captain Kangaroo in the 1950s.
Oh, that's neat. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Absolutely didn't know that.
Old school television.
Old school TV where it was for live. And here's what the episode's about. Man-hungry Laverne manages to get herself and Shirley in a heaping load of trouble when she, crushing hard on a passenger on the local bus line, follows him to his place of work and discovers that he's the local mortician. To foster a bond between them, she lies that Shirley's dying and coaxes her best friend to play along, hoping to use the experience of planning Shirley's funeral to squeeze a date out of the guy. Meanwhile, Lenny and Squiggy bump into Laverne at the mortuary while delivering beer for a canceled wake and learn that Laverne is planning, in quote-unquote, Shirley's funeral. Horrified, the boys begin mourning Miss Fiend. What'd you think of this one?
I enjoyed the physical comedy. There's some great dialogue. The boys' reaction is hilarious.
Yeah.
I'm not a big fan of these kind of lie-driven, I guess the lie convenience or, catalyst or contrivance type of episodes of television. I've never been a fan of those. So it's for me to have enjoyed it, which I did, means that it transcended things a bit. I mean, there's some wonderful moments, throughout. I mean, you have Edna's tap dancing at the beginning, which my mother's jaw just dropped for the entire dance. She was like in stunned shock watching it play out. And, there's things like that. I mean, I love even the blocking details when Shirley comes back home and, the aching dogs. And so she gets the old school Epsom salt to soak her feet, which gives her something to do and fall into character while she's talking. And I do admittedly like the setup of Laverne following this guy.
Yeah.
It's mortician, and it's a morbid job, and she is so gung-ho about it. She's going to try to go for it.
Yeah. I love that we open with a completely random Carmine and Edna dance number, and I love that we basically move through what's the most morbid plot in the entire show, except for the time when we have a character give birth on top of a casket at a funeral, which does happen in season 8.
What the hell?
It does.
What?
Yeah, it happens in season...
What season did this happen in? I'm gonna need. What? Lisa, you gotta warn me about these things before you just drop this out. What the fuck?
It's canon. It's canon.
Oh my god.
Welcome to hell. I mean, season 8.
Oh. Sorry, everyone.
I love that you were genuinely flummoxed by that revelation. Yeah, that happens. I love that you were genuinely flummoxed by that.
I mean, it's just I just didn't expect something like out of a freaking Rogelio Diodato or a Jean Rollin or a Louis Buñuel movie.
Amazingly, the child is not the promised one. It is not the demon. It's not the demon seed either. It's just the child. Oh Lord! But yeah, that happens. This plot is amazingly morbid, but it's also very cheery, so you can't say it's too depressing. It's silly in an appealing way. I love that Laverne is so guy crazy that she will literally follow a guy on a bus line, even though she doesn't need to use the bus, follow him to his place of work, and then decide that maybe, just maybe, she could have her best friend fake her upcoming death so she can get close to this dude.
Mm-hmm.
It is the most Laverne idea in the weirdest of ways. It's just a silly little episode that's fun. And it's kind of cartoony and childish, which is interesting because it's sandwiched between the very, very mature feeling New Year's Eve episode and another very kind of juvenile in a nice way episode, just the horse show.
Mm-hmm.
It's weird, but good weird. That's my verdict. Weird, but good weird.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Well, I was gonna say, I mean, for all my complaints about it, you know, I did really appreciate the. I mean, first of all, good point. The morbid. I think I've normalized this level of morbid in my life.
Yeah.
I don't know what that says about my current existence, or it's just lockdown. But
Yeah.
but I was gonna say though regarding it is the physical comedy in this episode is incredible. The whole gag with the urn is amazing.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I love the pun. Oh God, what is it? The ashes to ashes, dust to dust. If you're going to be cremated, an urn is a must. Yeah.
That Chipper Mortician is so much fun.
Mm-hmm.
He really is so much fun. I love that Laverne manages to get this person's remains all over her hands and then just brushes it all over this guy's jacket while trying to hug him.
Now, reminder, the model was discontinued, and that's just used as an ashtray.
Yes, there you go. So they managed to skirt that. Yeah, they do manage to skirt that gag.
Yep.
They do manage to skirt that gag by just the hair of their teeth to make it slightly less morbid than everything else in the episode. It really is.
Oh man.
Lenny's really excited to see a dead body, even though, as we see at the end of the episode, being around one petrifies him, and he has been a coward for centuries. So I can't imagine why seeing a dead body would be exciting to him.
If it's a dead body that he knows is meat, I think it's just the idea of conquering the fear to confirm for himself, yeah, it's just meat. It can't get up and hurt you.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point, actually.
I mean, that's my
really
personal
good
perspective.
point.
I mean, I don't want anyone to die, but if I come across a dead body, like I'm hoping, you know, like if I was to, you know, for whatever reason, see a medical cadaver, you know, if I have doing research for a film or something, you know, yeah, okay, whatever, let's do this.
Yeah.
You know, finding a body in the wild is a whole other story.
Yeah, exactly. I love the way the boys try to mourn Shirley by giving her a lifetime subscription to her favorite magazine, but it only lasts 6 weeks.
Yes. Oh God, that bit kills me.
Beautiful bit. Beautiful bit. Beautiful bit.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely perfect.
I mean, the boys in general in this episode are hysterical. The whole, you know.
Yes.
And the it's boys. I loved it when she called us boys.
Boys.
Oh man.
She always wanted to ride in a big car.
Oh God, yeah. Oh, I love them seeing the hearse. It's so, and I love how sweet it is. It's like they're dimwits and they're pervs, but they're good-hearted sometimes. This like the idea of losing Shirley is devastating to them.
Yeah, exactly. This fact will make future episodes really, really, really worthy of a huge side eye. Because their behavior, like around season 8, season 7, in regards to the girls, does not match this factoid at all. So, we'll get there, and it is annoying.
Yeah.
I will say, this is the first time we hear about sock-chewing Alan Steckler. He will come up again in a future episode. He's mentioned in Lenny's crush. And, Laverne's horror about being on a date with this dude feels very apropos. I love that little reference. The little favors the girls do for one another.
Yeah, it's like kissing a hamper. Oh boy.
Yeah, for girl.
Oh God. Yeah, but it's oh, that's right. And that's right. There's the little song, right? If you're ever in a jam and you're dying, if you're ever in a mess, SOS. If you ever feel so happy that you land in jail, I'm your bail. It's friendship. It's friendship. Oh, boy.
Friendship. They use this song in I Love Lucy. It's
Oh.
a standard. So, yes.
Nice.
So it kind of continues the long sitcom tradition of using that song.
Nice. I had to comment, by the way, when they decided on their plan, my mom's comment was, it's going to go so wrong.
Yep, and so it does. I love how offended Shirley is that Laverne just buys a pine box with her.
Oh, yeah. No, I mean, I was wondering if they got it on loan from Django or something.
Yes! You're gonna put me in an orange crate?
Yep. And it's got the little stale sticker on it. It's $10 off.
Yep. And she's so offended that there's no pillow, there's no blanket.
Mm-hmm.
What are you gonna do? Give me an army blanket?
Yep. Oh, that's right. And this is the one with the famous, not famous, but it's a well-known blooper. The I want you to act scared, cower like a chicken. And it was because you couldn't, she couldn't do the line.
Yeah, Penny could not get out the term yellow-bellied and lily-livered to save her life. She kept cracking up. There's like 10 takes that she botched. And finally, they gave a line to Cindy. And Penny ends up saying, I want you to act like a chicken. Because that's what she comes out with at the very last scene in the blooper. The very last attempt at the scene in the blooper. I want you to act chicken. And Cindy just loses it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was waiting for her to just start going, buck, 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 buck. Actually acts like a real chicken.
I love
so that's a good way to jump off then to how he reacts to it. I mean, I loved that the mortician, he reacted to he would it's a tasteless prank. And I do love his line, death is not funny. He says it with a straight face. I mean, it's an understandable reaction for somebody in his profession, but at the same time, it's also one of those it's clearly a setup for a joke. It's meant to get a laugh. I'm amazed that the audience doesn't laugh at it.
I know. Sometimes the audience will just totally miss gags, and you go, what the heck are you guys thinking?
Oh, yeah.
Hello? That was funny.
Well, I mean,
that was funny.
Did I told you this story, I think. I've told you this story. I don't think I've mentioned this on the pod, but when my dad and I went to go see Austin Powers Goldmember, there's that long buildup of going to Roboto Industries, and you're waiting for him to say it. And finally he says, Domo arigato, Mr. Roboto. This was a full house audience in Beaverton, Oregon. My dad and I were we died laughing. We were hysterically laughing. We're the only people in the audience that got the joke.
God. I think I told a story, too, about going to see Robin Hood Men in Tights with my mother and my father. And we were one of maybe 3 families in the audience, and we were the only people laughing our butts off.
That's right. You were telling me about this, yes.
Yes. I couldn't believe it. It's a funny movie. Sometimes you cannot predict mass reactions or audience reactions.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's also a well-known story about, or at least it's a story about Edward Scissorhands being test screened. I will not say this full story, quote, verbatim, because it does involve a rather pejorative term for people of the gay persuasion, and we are not going to say that.
God.
But, yeah, they screen. Okay, remember the jock character in Edward Scissorhands? The bad guy?
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
They screened it for an audience, I think, in Texas, made up of young people that were that character.
Lord.
And it tested horribly. And apparently the only reason the film didn't get severely recut because it tested so badly was because the producers realized, well, this is one crowd, let's try it with another one. And they tried it with the other one, it did really well. And I was like, okay, movie's fine, don't touch it. But yeah, they kept wanting to see the jock just beat up Edward Scissorhands and get his girl back. So some audiences you just can't predict. Anyway, sorry, back on track.
Yep.
The Mortician himself, Stan, the Mortician.
Yes, Stan's fun.
I want to mention, first of all, I love his performance. It's wonderfully understated. His delivery is perfect. He's super genuine. It's great character actor performance. He was a bit player on other TV shows during the 70s. This actor, John Fink, including The Bionic Woman, The Waltons, satirical soap, Mary Hartman, and of course, Three's Company.
Yes.
He, however, seemed to have been a friend of Joel Schumacher's because he is in a ton of his movies. He has been a day player on Flatliners, Falling Down, both Batman movies, and even the number 23.
Yes. Things I didn't know.
So the interesting trivia about him, though, is he did end up creating a book called The Third Opinion, which is about alternative medicine and alternative therapies for cancer treatment. So unfortunately, I mean, I have to do some more investigating about how much of that is a crock of crap. Because, I mean, I'm a person that believes in allopathic and alternative medicine. That's about understanding which works for both. Because not all, it's not a one or everything. It's not all in one. But there's also people that it's like when it comes to cancer treatments that you should be following. You should be typically, if you have, especially if a good cancer doctor, following their instructions so you don't die. So, yeah. But anyway. That's the backstory for him as an actor, but as a character, this was an interesting character. I mean, what do you think about him being only this one-time character?
I actually would like to have seen him again as a different character, or perhaps as his character.
Mm-hmm.
Laverne sometimes could have used a really good, steady boyfriend. We almost get that with Norman. We kind of get that for like 6 episodes in season 6, and unfortunately, we were going to get that in season 8, and again, sadly, the character ended up having to be retired because of the death of the actor portraying him. But I would have liked to have seen more Stan. I really would have.
Cool. Yeah, I was curious about that because I feel of two minds about that. At the same, I'm struggling to figure out how you would implement him. But that would have been a hilarious running gag as Stan the Mortician shows up and everyone freaks out and goes, "Oh God, who died?" every time he shows up.
Yes, it would have been hilarious. Yes. Gosh, yeah, he's a good actor and a good character, good one-shot character.
And I like that he knows the Nantucket limerick.
Yes, I was going to mention that. I love that Laverne knows it. And she didn't know it before. Because it was half blurred off of the men's room roll and Good Time Girls, and she did not know it. Now she does.
Oh, I'm sure Lenny was happy to inform her.
Yes, I can picture that. Definitely. Definitely. So the tag scene of this episode is great.
Oh, it is. It really is.
Yes. The boys come over, thinking Shirley's dead, with lilies, ready to present them to the widow DeFazio, as they put it. And Shirley's lying on the couch napping, in a very corpse-like position for some reason. Convenient. And then Shirley wakes up, and Laverne gets her to play along with her, and she slowly rises up from the couch, calling Lenny and Squiggy's names. And the boys, terrified, run for their lives.
I love it. Yeah. She's talking to us from across the beyond. Lenny, she wants you, Len. Not tonight. Squiggy. Oh, it's great.
Come here.
And I mean, you know me. I like the horror spooky stuff, when that shows up in this show. I did find it funny that Laverne seemed very into when the Wolfman was getting all hairy all over his body.
Yeah.
She's into hairy boys.
Yeah. This is the first hint that she's really into monster movies, even though she seemed kind of lukewarm to the concept in High Neighborhood 2.
Yes.
But
yes.
This is the first hint that she loves monster movies. It shows up again in Lenny's Crush. And it shows up again in, I think, The Fire Show. Yes. The Fire Show.
Cool. Yeah, and it could just be, she's a bit pickier. She prefers the black and white Wolfman movies to, the Technicolor Toho scope stuff.
No, she likes Godzilla movies. That's also mentioned in Lenny's Crush.
Oh, okay, so that comes...
Yeah.
Oh, so that... Okay. Wow, you keep hyping me up for Lenny's Crush. I'm excited to be there. I mean, heck, before we recorded this episode, I literally went to sleep watching Godzilla vs. Monster Zero last night.
Aww.
Oh God! Of course, you think that's cute and adorable. Okay.
I think it's adorable. Of course, I think it's adorable. A lot. I fell asleep watching. God, what did I fall asleep watching last night? Last night I fell asleep watching MST3K. I fell asleep watching EGA, and I woke up, and I think what was on was. What the heck was it? Let me think about that. Which episode was on? It was probably Teenagers from Outer Space. I think it was.
Ah, yes, the one where you can be too rich and too thin.
I saw like 2 seconds of it this morning before I shut it off. So
Yeah.
Yeah, but I tend to do that anyway. I fall asleep listening to M3E13 episodes.
Oh, dude, that has been my go-to for years. I just have had to start
Yeah.
diversifying just because I watched every episode.
Yeah, that's why it's
Or I should say,
food.
I fell asleep to every episode.
Yeah. Shout out to Becky. She does this too.
Nice. Oh, I
One of the
know
many things.
3 other people that do it, actually.
Yeah.
Because I know my best friends, Vanessa and Phil. My other, well, I say best friends, but I have 5 best friends of equal value.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think another 3 of the, what I'm saying, 3 of the 5. You're one of the 3 of the 5 that that all fits under. That say that, hey, MC3K, it's a good sleep thing. Anyway, sorry folks, we got off track there, but monster movies, that's what's gonna happen. Tag scene's great. The tag scene's great. This episode's really is pretty good. What do we rank in this one though? What are we going for?
This one is around a 6. No, let's put it about a 7. Really cute, funny gags, really well plotted, which sometimes can be a rarity depending on what the show decides to do with itself.
Mm-hmm.
Lots of fun Lenny and Squiggy stuff. And a really, really decent little moment of friendly bonding between the girls, and then Laverne having to kind of confront the fact that, oh yeah, lying to a guy is a bad idea.
Mm-hmm. It's terribly impolite.
Yes. Don't lie to a mortician. You don't want to end up in a cremation room. Anyway. Yeah. So, interesting fact about this episode that our audience may not know. This is the highest rated episode of Laverne and Shirley, period. Which is fascinating if you think about it and you consider all of their iconic episodes. This is the one that drew the highest number of viewers, highest number of eyeballs, and it was I think it set a record for that Tuesday at the time. It shows you how powerful the show was at its peak.
I mean, maybe that is the wrath of the tall man that the Phantasm end credits were always warning us about.
If I could pick any episode to give its ratings to, I'd give it to like Debutante Ball or to, like Look for Your Leap or something good. That's something bland like this.
Yeah, I mean, not to say it's that we disliked it. It's just it's a very middle of the road episode with some high points.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. And the boys are most of the high points, sadly.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I don't even know sadly. I'll take back that sadly. Yeah. Yeah, you know what I meant, audience.
Yeah. I mean, I liked the guy. I thought he was good. I thought the actor was good.
Gosh. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, cool. For me, I'm gonna go with a 6.5. It's gonna be a little lower. It is a case of, for me, that as I said at the start of the episode, I have issue with the line episode, the awkwardness of it. It's a little, it just makes me feel uncomfortable. So it's always going to weaken things a bit. But the tag scene, as mentioned, is great. I love Stan as a character. I also like that he's very tall and works at a mortuary for obvious Phantasm reasons. And yeah, there's cute stuff. I will say, like, Laverne is adorable in this episode. And the way, like, Cindy's delivery on let me scroll back up here. There's a bit where she says, okay, watch my head. Look at my head. What does that indicate to you? No. It says no, which my mother got a humongous cackle out of. I love the head shake a bit. So Shirley's resistance is funny. When she goes along with it, it gets a little embarrassing. So yeah. Anyway, I'm getting verbose about it unnecessarily, but it's I was
gonna mention this one great Lenny and Squiggy line. There's one great Squiggy line. We would have been on time, but we were late.
I need to use that because I'm always late.
Yeah.
I'm always late to my own sets. My dad and I are often not late when we go on other people's sets. Sometimes we are, but it's actually kind of rare. But on our own sets, we're always late. So that I have to use that. That's good. Anyway, so I think, does that cover everything for this episode? Is there anything other last notes?
I believe so. Nah, I don't have anything.
Cool. All right. Well, thank you again, everybody, for joining us for Night After Night. If you would like to know more, please follow us on Twitter at NightAfterNightPC or at Night After Night Pod on Facebook, Tumblr, Patreon, WordPress. It's I don't know, we'll probably get some point in some sort of cloud-based format where we'll just be a bunch of particles in the air. I don't know. You can just breathe in our podcast. Who the heck knows? Anyway, but that's the main thing. And do please consider, visiting us on Patreon if you want to support the show. And I think that's kind of going to be it's going to be kind of it for today. So what do we have next?
Perhaps you hear this episode approaching with a clip-clop of hooves.
Oh.
Shirley tries to save a horse, and the girls have to try to keep him quiet in their apartment until they find a good place for him to stay. This is called The Horse Show.
All right. Well, I guess we'll see you around, Pilgrim, and tune in next week, why don't you?
Happy trails!